for a moment think in your mind that because this is very popular, and I do also sometimes get frustrated when I think this is what is happening with the Igbo race as a political group. That the Igbo man is prostitutional in his political activity, and forgive that narrative. But if you look at historically, the Igbo man will likely take whatever and just forget and just say, look, give me and let me move forward. And like our brothers in the north who will, whom a lot of people think that they come together a lot. They organize better. In fact, better than the Southwesterner. There are a lot of people believe that Yorubas are a bit more organized politically speaking. Although there are also issues. A Yoruba president will be more criticized by the Yoruba man. But you have a tendency that a northern president will have a quieter reign when he's in office because his fellow northerners will. But that you will see a lot, the Igbo man will be attacked, pulled down by his fellow Igbo people. That oneness politically is not there. And that is the reason why today we have not been able to have unison, singing from the same hymn book from the Igbo people to have a common front. Do you see that problem? Is that narrative, is it right politically? Is it what is going on? Do you think those who have portrayed that narrative, is it really what is happening? Do you see that playing out?
No, I see it completely differently. I don't see Igbos as disunited at all. I think it's about our heritages, our political heritages. The Igbo political heritage is a republican one. We've never been a monarchical system. We've always been a republican system where people compete and contest. Till today, in my Umunna meeting in the village, it doesn't matter how much older you are than me. If you say something that is, I can get up in the meeting and say, Dede, you're not right. That's our culture. And it has its strengths. Everything has its strengths and its weaknesses. It's also why Igbo society is so vibrant, it's so entrepreneurial, it's so resilient. It's why we survived the war, rebounded from the war, because we are like that.
Why you are found in Taiwan, in China, in India, in
so you can't
you jump on the plane to China. 90% of the people you find there are Igbo people.
What powers Igbo culture is not prostitutional. It is creativity, it's innovation. It is also what powers pathfinders.
So it's being described negatively.
It's being,
but it
has its positive and even everybody, whatever your strength is, it has his weak side. And because of the
now, Barrister, I'm an Igbo man, and the truth is, if we fail to any parent, let me use this analogy, any parent who failed to criticize an unruly child, the behavior, unruly behavior, the behavior of an unruly child, that child will not change, and that child will eventually bring pain to his or her parents in future. I have been a very strong critic of Igbos politically, and I've been a very strong supporter of the Igbos entrepreneurially. Igbos are industrious because now that journalist, Sheung Akimbaloye, asked a question. I am surprised because he's a very experienced person, someone I respect his professionalism, his knowledge, political, his journalistic knowledge. I'm surprised he didn't stay on the word, on the question. He seemed to play along with his interviewee, his guest. I disagree on the political aspect. I disagree completely with the guest. The truth is, Igbo man, I've said it over and over and over. I've said it for years. Igbo man is a political prostitute. That is just it. That was the question he asked. Is the Igbo man a political prostitute? Yes. I am an Igbo man. And I have criticized my people politically that Igbos are political prostitutes. They are selfish. An Igbo man, an average Igbo man, they are just after themselves and their immediate families, what they will get from politics. That is why they criticize each other. The moment you raise your head and see they see you as a shining light, you project yourself as a shining light, or the population or the society projects as a shining light in Igbo. It is an Igbo man that will be the first person to come to bring down his hammer on you. It's an Igbo man that will be your strongest and ardent critic. We'll be talking about Soludo or whatever and his visit to Bola Tinubu. That's a different topic. He's an ample example. Since Obi started shining as the star of the Igbo land, Soludo have never stopped criticizing Peter Obi. Soludo is not just an Igbo man like Peter Obi. He is from the same state as Peter Obi. And you're telling me what the heck is this man? Is that Igbo man? Chukwumerije. Chukwumerije, right? Yeah. I don't know if he's the son of Chukwumerije, the late Chukwumerije.
I think he's the son of
late Chukwumerije. I don't know. That guy is just, honestly, what he said about the business angle of is perfect. They are gifted. Igbo man the average Igbo man is gifted. They can survive any situation. They can thrive in any situation. They can grow in the worst situation. They have all that talent and gift from God. There's no doubt about that. But politically, and that is why I have predicted that an Igbo man will never be the president of Nigeria under democratic dispensation. I have said it before. And unfortunately, I am still seeing the proof. I thought that 2023 will prove me wrong. Will prove my prediction wrong. Will shoot down my prediction. Obi was supposed to be the reason why that prediction was shut down, but he failed as the Igbo man that he was supposed to be. He refused. He couldn't. He lacked the temerity, the guts, the courage, the will to actually do the right thing. And that is the problem. That is the bane of the Igbo man politically. That is the problem. An Igbo man thinks about his business. He doesn't think about the people. He's just like a Hausa Fulani man. Fulani, not Hausa. Okay, Fulani man. Fulani is Fulani. No, it's not Hausa Fulani. Fulani is Fulani. A Fulani man who believes in his cattle than any other thing. That's the way that politics or anything. And a Fulani man would rather protect his cattle than protect human beings. It is the same thing with Igbo man. Igbo man believes in his business. His business, Igbo man, in fact, in some cases, some Igbo men even believe in their businesses more than their families. They can protect their businesses with their lives than their families. I am an Igbo man, so don't come at me. I'm an Igbo man. I'm speaking as an Igbo man. So that is it. Barrister, what is your take on this? Do you believe that Igbo man is a prostitute politically?
No, I will disagree with you on that.
Go ahead.
In the context of Nigerian politics, surprisingly, when you say the Igbo man is political prostitute, you should expect that in effect by having them go different ways all the time. But the facts on the ground are different. It's just the complications of the Nigerian political and structural situation and then the war that has caused the political problem for the Igbos. Go back to 1979. The Igbos aligned with the northern Muslims, in fact, the North, to bring Shagare into power, in the hope that after the 2 terms constitutionally enshrined in the Constitution, when Shagare would have done his 2 terms, the presidency going to the South, the North will support the Igbos. Virtually, most of the states then, fast forward to 1999, and it did not happen deliberately. Then you saw how when the time for Shagari to do his second term and come, and they opened the way for the South, and by the political dominance of NPM for the Igbos, you saw how the North orchestrated a removal of the political system then and took over as a military government of First Buhari, then Babangida, then Abacha, then Abdul Salam. Now project back to 1999. You have the Igbos. The entire Southeast virtually voted for the PDP. The PDP was the national dominant party across all the country. The entire Southeast has been faithful to the PDP since 1999, up to a certain point.
Barrister.
A certain point. Now, in 2015, the whole country was able to rally around Buhari, except for the Southeast. For some reason, I will come back to that. Now, coming back to 2023, the presidency, Buhari had done 8 years. The presidency was supposed to go to the South. Now, instead of saying that the Yorubas has stolen what should have been the turn of the Igbos, because the Yorubas have ruled for 8 years when the presidency was in the South. And it is expected by this unwritten arrangement that if he comes back to the South, the Igbos will have it. The Yorubas, with their greed, did not allow their fellow Southerners, the Igbos, to take it. They again allied with the North to deny the Igbos. So I am trying to say that if somebody says the Igbos are not united politically, it is not entirely correct. They have had allegiance where the whole Southeast voted for MPN. They have had allegiance where the whole Southeast voted for PDP, except one state at a point
Barrister.
that did not vote PDP.
Barrister.
The problem of the Igbos, I'm coming to that, let me learn. The problem of the Igbos is their inability to sell one candidate to the rest of the country, to make the kind of Buhari
that is my point. Because
I'm coming to it. I'm trying to give reason for why it is very difficult for that thing to happen. For why it is difficult for one candidate. You know, the whole country agreed on Obasanjo as a kind of placation to placate the Yorubas. So the whole country agreed with him at that time. The whole country agreed with Buhari. But it has been difficult to project a single Igbo man whom the whole country can accept and then put him into power.
Barrister.
Now, the reason is, I agree with you, part of the reason is the Republican nature of the Igbo man, attacking his fellow man, which is part of it, but not the. I don't even think that is the dominant part.
That is the problem. Hold on, Barrister. We are dragging this in too much. Now, the truth is, my point is this: everything you say does not align with. It doesn't make sense in comparison to what the point I made earlier, and the point I'm still trying to make. Everything you talked about, the unity in Igbo land has never been based on an Igbo man being the one on the platform. All those ones, the PDP or whatever, during the Buhari time, during the Obasanjo time, it was Obasanjo, a Yoruba man. During the what again after Obasanjo, it was Yaradua. During Yaradua, it was Yaradua and a Hausa Fulani man. During Goodluck Jonathan, partially Igbo man, partially not really Igbo man. It's from. I don't think Jonathan speaks Igbo. Jonathan, he's an Ijaw man. He's not an Igbo man.
He's an Ijaw.
He's a Ijaw man. So that's the problem. So all the ones that they have been coming together to support have never been an Igbo man at the top. That is my point. They are united in supporting someone, but the person has never been an Igbo man. That is my point. The only time an Igbo man came out as the shining light on the hill was in 2023. Peter Obi.
Exactly. Your argument is defeated because in that time the whole Southeast.
No, hold on. Then again, no, that's not true. That's not true. No, that's not true. That's not true. A key person, a very, very important person, a sitting governor who is also from his state, was very aggressive in criticizing Peter Obi even at that juncture. So tell me, you can never experience this in the West or in the North, especially in the North. No northern key person will see a northerner thriving politically and try to pull him down. Only Igbo man does that. For God's sake, there is no how you cannot tell me, and you will see the reason why Charles Soludo will be, the next topic will be treating about that. Why Charles Soludo is actually doing that, because it's about that. That's the problem. Like I said, I'm an Igbo man. I have dealt with Igbo people as an Igbo man. I've done businesses with them. So I can tell you authoritatively why I have been a critic. Look, Igbos are overwhelmingly, I consider them as the best when it comes to innovation, business, gifts, talents. Like I said, they can thrive and survive in any situation. In fact, they are the ones holding Nigeria. Nigeria's economy is dependent on Igbo man. If Igbo people pull their business, their economy away from Nigeria, Nigeria will collapse. The economy of Nigeria will collapse. But politically, Igbos are the worst. Politically, they are prostitutes. They just hobnob with anyone that makes them feel better, feel good. That is just the reality. So my point is, if the Igbos had been so supportive of themselves, perhaps would have had the Nigerian president of Igbo extraction today. But as it is, 2023 was the closest that Igbo man came to being the president. That will be the closest it will ever be. Unfortunately, I don't see a scenario where an Igbo man will be the president of Nigeria. I still do not see that scenario right now, because after Tinubu goes, Tinubu serves 8 years. He goes back to the north. Now come back. They begin to talk about Igbo man. I bet you the northerner will go. I will pick someone from the south, who is just like Jonathan, like Ijo, like someone that will try to claim that is part of an Igbo man. That is exactly what, and that's how they will be rigmaroing with Igbo's interest for years to come.
Well, let me add that is more. I agree with you that to some extent, yes, but that to me is not the dominant reason.
What is the dominant reason?
It is a combination. I believe it's a combination of reasons. One of it is betrayal.
That is the point now. That is the point, Barrister.
Betrayal by others, not necessarily by their fellow men. Look, somebody like Rocha Okorocha, he grew up in the north. Oh, in fact, at a point, 90% of his business was in the north. There's nothing he did. You will even, apart from his name and religion, you will take him for a northerner. Still, he didn't have any support from the north. What do you think it will take an Igbo man to do to get support from the north?
I told you before. Last week, I told you the reason.
From the
Barrister, last week, I gave the reason why the north can never support an Igbo man. Because a Fulani man will never forgiven Igbo man, that they will never forgive Igbo man for killing Saldana. I told you that.
Exactly. So that is why I said there are some structural issues in Nigeria that is hampering the progress of Igbo politically. Now, how do you address that? The problem in the East is that they have unity up to a certain time. They are not consistent with that unity, and they do not fight till the end. Today, they will say, okay, we are going to support our people. After 4 years, they'll say, oh, the government has not been patronizing. No, we need to be with them so that we can get something, we can get projects. They will abandon the fight.
Yeah.
Instead of being the Yorubas in the aftermath of June 12th, they were consistent. There's nothing you will bring there that they will agree. They want their power. They want their power. They want their power. That is what made eventually for them, the country had no choice than to give it to them. The Igbos, that is where they lack the consistency that political unity, consistency, continuously insisting that we must, that one is not there. It takes only a little time. And of course, those Republican tendencies of individualism coming, people are called and settled, giving money or giving position, and they abandon the struggle for the Igbo man to rule. That is one of those are a combination of factors that are militating against the political advancement of the Igbos. I don't look at it as simply internal betrayers alone. It is much more than that. It's far much more than that. Another one, the Igbos and the Yorubas have failed to see that the northern co-northerners are constantly intriguing to separate them so that they cannot unite and present a common front. And they have sown seeds of discord. They have helped to sow seeds of discord so that the Igbo man will not agree with the Yoruba man. The Yoruba man will never agree with an Igbo man. How do you, in terms of north and south geopolitics of Nigeria, if the two major southern tribes do not agree, the road is open for the north. It has always been like that. The bringing of Tinubu, the support of Tinubu in 2023 is part of the reason and a pattern to divide the Southwest. Because legitimately, morally, when that presidency went back to the South, it ought to have been unchallenged. It ought to have gone to the Southeast unchallenged. Because the Southwest have done 8 years. The South, through Jonathan, have done. There are 3 regions. There should have been no challenge for the turn of the Igbos. It would have been the turn of the Igbos. 4 or 3 regions.
No, now
there are 3 regions now.
North, southeast,
there are
southwest.
3 regions: south, southeast, and southwest. It's only 3.
Okay, in the south.
In the south.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is that in the south there are 3 regions.
Yeah.
2 regions have ruled. So when the power is going back to the south, it should have been unchallenged. The region that has not ruled should have presented a candidate. But because of that disunity, they couldn't. That is another structural reason that is causing the Igbo the problem. It's not simply just the Igbo man's betrayal of his brother alone.
No,
it also contributes.
No, when a problem is militating around a situation, it doesn't mean it can never be just one thing that is the reason. They will, especially when it comes to politics, there are multiple fronts to what the reason may be or the cause may be. But my point is, this is a major. Yours, you don't see it as the major. Me, I see it as the major, or one of the major bane of the Igbo political future. That is our fortune. That is just the reality. Whether you accept it or not, it is just the reality on the ground. Igbo man does not know how to support his own. Igbo man is selfish and self-centered in their pursuit of life. I gave you an example with their business. That an Igbo man so much they are so protective of their business even than their own. Look, Igbo man fears his business failing than any other thing. They don't take it. They are just like the Fulani man who protects his cattle. It is the same thing with the Igbo man when it comes to their business. That business is just a weakness to an Igbo man. Any other thing, every other thing is relegated to the background. And that is the problem. An Igbo man, when it comes to politics, the moment you come with an Igbo man with anything that will make his life personally better, he will sell out other interests. That is the unfortunate aspect of an Igbo man. Again, we are all human beings. Everybody, no matter how good you are, you have your weakness. This is the weakness of an Igbo man. And that is my take on that. Okay, let's move to the next topic. And okay, the next topic has to do with Soludo. Barrister. Obviously, you have read that Soludo visited Asuro, visited Bola Tinubu, right?
Yes.
Now, Soludo was one of the, if not the highest critic of Peter Obi during the 2023 election. He criticized Peter Obi because, to me, I interpret that as being envious. He saw himself as the one who should be the shining light on the hill in Igbo land, because he just felt entitled. Soludo feels that entitlement. He felt entitled that I am a professor in economics, former CBN governor. I am a globally recognized personality academically. So therefore, by virtue of all this, I am entitled to be the one in place of Peter Obi. So that envy stepped in. Hence, his ardent criticism of Peter Obi. And since then, he has not held back. He has rather doubled down on criticizing Peter Obi. Now, Soludo reaffirms 22-year friendship with Tinubu, says support transcends politics. You see the reason why he's criticizing Peter Obi now. Obviously, he's supporting Tinubu. And it is now, he now remember that Bola Tinubu has been his 22 years old friend against his own brother. Again, this Soludo's thing is so annoying. This man is your brother from the same state, former governor. I don't get it. Just look at him visiting or whatever. Of course, trying to. We talked about Alex Oti last week, who is trying to massage Tinubu's ego by not criticizing him, even though he is an opposition member. Now we have Soludo again, an opposition member, massaging Tinubu's ego, probably promising Tinubu to deliver the East for him. Possibly that is what maybe one of the things he's going to discuss. So that is my point, Barrister. Igbo man is the enemy within the Igbo land. That is just an Igbo man. Let me be frank with you. The worst enemy of an Igbo man politically is not a Hausa Fulani man. It's not a Hausa man. It's not a Yoruba man. It is an Igbo man. And that is personified in Charles Soludo. Barrister.
Well, Soludo's case, I used to think very hard on Soludo's case. I wholeheartedly agree with you that there is some envy and jealousy there. I also agree that he feels that by virtue of his academic qualification, professor, by virtue of being governor of CBN and now governor of Anambra, he should be the preeminent Igbo politician. And I believe that's the way he's thinking or the way he's feeling. And so he gives him the right. I saw a cartoon or this thing somewhere where somebody said, I will prefer a professor to a trader. He was referring to Soludo and
Peter Obi.
and Peter Obi. And I have talked about this thing repeatedly. Soludo came with a lot of promise. He was professor of economics. He came into the CBN. When he was coming as governor, there was a lot of hope that he was going to transform Anambra State. With his experience as a professor of economics and having run the Central Bank of Nigeria. But on ground, there's nothing. he has been a signal disappointment. He is not charismatic in nature. He's not very lovable in nature.
Yeah.
He's not a good communicator.
No.
In fact, he lacks the qualities of a real leader that we have commanding followership. On the other hand, the Obi that you say is a trader, he has those attributes. There are reasons why it's not just because he is an Igbo man that he got the support. Most of us are not Igbos, but we were 100% behind this project. There's a reason for that. If Soludo had come out, you would not. In fact, if the Igbo supported him as an Igbo son, you will not find him having support outside the Southeast, like Peter Obi is having. There is a reason for that. There is character and demonstrable competence and antecedents, which people have seen, even outside the Southeast, of one person against the other. We have seen him operate as a professor of economics. We have seen him operate as CBN governor. We have seen him operate as governor of Anambra State. There's no comparison between him and Peter Obi in terms of politics of governance. So his claim to being the preeminent Igbo son politician who should be presented the rest of Nigeria has no basis, really.
Yeah.
It's not standing on firm foundation. It's just his thinking. There's no good foundation on which he can project that type of idea. That's why he is where he is. And that is why he is forced not to rely on his ability, but on the friendship of President Tinubu. Because going forward, he's afraid. In fact, like many governors, that the federal government will use their position to take away their governorship. If he has 20-something years of friendship with Tinubu that transcend politics, why didn't he follow Tinubu's political trajectory? Why didn't he go to APC, where Tinubu was? Because he knew that if he contested an Anambra gubernatorial election on the platform of APC, he will not even come near. He had to choose Abga to contest the governorship of Anambra. So these are political realities. Today he's shouting that his friendship transcends politics, but he is using politics above his friendship when he ran Anambra governorship under the platform of a different party from that of Tinubu. Today he's promising Tinubu votes from the Southeast. How can he deliver it?
He can't.
He does not have the Southeasterners behind him.
No.
How can he deliver it? So his case is apologetic. I really pity him because he could have been. I don't have much respect for him anymore.
Of course not.
As a professor of economics, I don't have, because there's nothing standout that he did at the CBN governor, and there's no standout thing that he is doing in Anambra, whether in terms of personal integrity, whether in terms of managing the economy, or whatever yardstick you are talking about. There is nothing significant. There's nothing you can put as a standout achievement of the supposed professor. So my respect for him has completely diminished from where I thought he was. Yeah. I said, okay, here is a brilliant Igbo son going to be a governor of a state. Let him project himself by his achievement, by his governance, so that the rest of the country can accept him. But he failed totally. So he is the architect of his own problem. If he has no support even within the entire Southeast, not to talk of the rest, he should blame it on himself. Clutching at the supposed friendship of people like Tinubu will not save him.
Yeah.
It may even save him to get a second term, but that would be the end of his political.
Honestly, that would be
end of his political career.
Soludo is not going anywhere politically, nationally rather. He's not going anywhere. That's just. But you just said it. Apart from, he's not even charismatic. He doesn't know how. It does. Just. It's not that. Doesn't have the charisma to